Good afternoon, everyone. We'll start our session. Okay. Today we are going to the last part of your module 2, module 3, that is called as error detection and correction. So, what is detection? What is correction? See, detection in the sense there is some particular error. That's it. I'm just telling there is some problem. Problem will be stated and it will be just keeping quiet. Where the problem will be arising, how you can cure it, that will be done with respect to your correction. So both the things will be just checking out with respect to this topic. Uh, this is the 10th chapter in the uh, prescribed textbook that has been given. Okay, so we'll just quickly move to the next slide. Yeah, data can be corrected during transmission. How? Because of the three impairments that we have already studied. That is attenuation, there is some change in the modulation, or distortion, disturbance that it can have it, or you can add some unwanted signals to the actual data and you can transmit it. So it can be corrupted. So if it is corrupted, means you need to detect that what is the whether the data that has been sent is actual data, how it was sent, or is there any changes that has been made to it. That is what you call as detection. Once that is detected, okay, suppose you say at the third bit the data whatever you have sent, the bit value, that is 1 if you are sending it, means if it is 0 means there is some change has been happened. That is what you call as error. The change is nothing but error here. So that change it need to detect properly. Suppose it has happened in the fourth bit, then the fourth bit need to be corrected from 0 to 1, and again it need to be transmitted. So this is nothing but your detection and correction is all about. We'll just see what are all the things that we will be just going through in this error detection and correction. So first of all, we need to identify what are all the types of errors that we will be having once we transmit a data from one end to another end. So that is types of errors. Next, how to detect these type of errors, how to correct those particular type of errors. For that, one topic we all need to know, that is called as redundancy. What is redundancy? Adding some unwanted bits to the actual data that you are sending it. Without that, you cannot achieve the error detection and correction method cannot be achieved. So for that, redundancy plays a vital role. And then what is detection? What is correction? We have already seen it in a on a lighter note. We will be just seeing this what is detection and correction in depth with respect to our topic. Okay. Next one is forward error correction versus retransmission. Retransmission means okay, there is some error, you need to transmit it once again. Forward error correction means whatever the error that has been happened, detected, that will be corrected over there based on one particular technique called as forward error correction. So we'll just check it out how it will be done. Next one is coding part. That is whatever the data that you are sending it, you cannot send it as it is because there are a lot of impairments that is happening, that is there in the transmission medium. So just because of it, you need to send it in a different unreadable format, that is called as coding. So how it can be done. Next one is modular arithmetic. This plays a vital role. This modular arithmetic is nothing but your XOR operation. That's it. Okay. So just recall XOR operation. That is nothing but your modular arithmetic is all about. So what is XOR operation? If you have two data bits that need to be sent, means how it will be there. Simple thing. Say suppose you have two bits. One is at the sender A and another one is the packet B. Okay. With respect to A, 0 will be sent, and similarly with respect to B, 0 will be sent. 0 followed by next one is 1 in combination. Next one is 1 followed by 0. Last one is 1 followed by 1. If you XOR it, if you modulate, if you have applied the modular arithmetic, 0 0, it will be 0. change whatever the change value is that will be retained as it is 1. 1 0. There is a change, it will be retained as it is 1. Whereas same bits are there, then it will be retained as, or it will be taken care as 0. This is the output. This is what we have just studied with respect to your XOR operation. The same thing is nothing but your modular arithmetic is equivalent to your XOR operation. Normally would be denoted as plus followed by motivation. If you just click on this particular plus, if you just see it, both resembles one another. So this is where modular arithmetic is all about. Okay, so keeping this, we'll just move forward to the next slide. In a single bit error, only one bit in the data unit has been changed. This is after transmission, I'm telling you. So once it reaches to the receiver, then only it can detect the errors. It cannot be detected during this transmission itself. After transmission, after sending the data from your one of the endpoint where the sender, that is what we call it as. So followed by once it transmits to the transmission medium, once it receives at the receiver, then we'll be checking for this error detection part, as well as correction will be made over there. So based on that, we'll be just using the different technologies or terminologies. Okay, one data bit has been sent, that is received as 1 instead of 0 with respect to the fourth bit. So this is what it has been done. So this is called a single bit error. If I change multiple bits, then it is called as burst errors. Two or more bits of errors, if you are having it, then you'll call it as a burst error. Understanding it? One single bit error itself. More than two or more bit of error that has been done, that has been detected, means it is called as burst errors. So to detect or correct errors, we need to send extra bits with data. So we cannot detect as the data will be transmitted. So we need to import some extra bits. Why? Just to code it in a different particular fashion. We need to add some extra bits. So based on these extra bits only, I'll be just confirming whether the data whatever is received at the other end is correct, or there is a change in the data bit that has been transmitted from the one of the end. So based on that, we can go with adding this extra bit with any of the technology or the terminology that we know it. Suppose for this, I'll just give you a small example here. Suppose I have a data. Suppose I have a data 1000. Okay. So with respect to this, I'll just go with adding one more particular redundant bit, or 3 bits you can add it. That is up to you. How many bits that you want, you can just add it. There is no problem at all. If you are going with 100 with respect to this, if you want to add an extra bit, I'll go with the parity check. So one more bit, I'll just give underline. Okay, I'll just mark it later. Okay, so I'll add one more bit. That bit is nothing but using the parity. Parity is nothing but even parity if it is not there with respect to the given number of bits. Even parity means even number of ones should be available. If there is odd number of ones, I'll just add one more bit called as 1. The same thing for the other particular data, say for example 1001. So it is already even. So I'll add one extra bit as 0. So this is nothing but your redundant bits. So these type of redundant bits based on the parity or based on any other particular calculation will be just adding some of the bits, extra bits to the original data. So our data is 100 followed by 1. Once it receives, this is during the transmission phase. These things be done during the transmission phase. Okay, so it has been transmitted. Now what I'll do is this is transmission medium. So this is one data, this is another data. So once it receives at the other end, suppose at the receiver, it receives the data as 10001. The parity is one and the same, so it gets accepted. So this is correct data that we have just got it. Whereas the second particular part, if in case 1000 followed by 0 is, so redundant bit is as it is, whereas check out with respect to this 0 cannot be happening because this is the parity bit. This parity bit should be 1, but unfortunately it has been read as 0. So there is some problem in this particular bit. So this is how we'll be just identifying, we'll just discard this type of data and we'll ask it to retransmit it once again if only detection is available, or else if the correction is available, then we'll try to correct it. How we can correct it, we'll just see it in the next slides, whatever the method that they'll be using. This is the actual thing that they are doing it with respect to introducing of the redundant bits. Why redundant bits need to be introduced? First point may be that, see, once we are transmitting some data, if we transmit the data as it is, there is a chance that anybody can view it, anybody can change it. Instead of it, if we add some unwanted information along with it, it should not exceed that. Suppose, say for example, how many number of bits that you can have it? If you have 4 data bits, that is 4 data bits that you need to transmit in one particular block, if I say it, one particular packet can transmit 4 data bits, then maximum it can have 3 redundant bits can be added for it. Understanding it? There is a rule. So that protocol we need to follow. 1 bit, yes, you can add it. 2 bit, you can add it. 3 bit maximum, it can add it, not more than that. So that is how you will be adding the error bits with respect to your total number of bits that you are having, that you want to transmit it. So we'll just check it out, each one of it. Don't worry much about it. But what is redundant bits, how it will be transmitted, how it will be rejected, and how it will be accepted, that's what I just gave an example to understand. That's it. So with respect to this, we'll just move on to the next picture. This gives you the block diagram. This is very, very important. This block diagram, many of the times they have asked in the exams. The structure of encoder and decoder with respect to sender and receiver part. Sender and receiver part. So with respect to the error detection method. So how it will be there? At the sender, always they will be provided with respect to the encoder. What is this encoder is all about? Encode. N is nothing but you are making the data to be you are changing the data from the readable format to an unreadable format. That is called as encoder. What will be there in this encoder? This block, it will be containing first the message, and then you're adding, you require some extra bits to be added, right? For that, one generator will be used. Using this generator, it can be used in any of the fashion. It may be a parity generator, as we have seen in the previous example, or it may be modular arithmetic generator, anything it can be. So based on this, we'll just check it out. Okay, so message plus it will be just fed it to the generator. Using this generator, we'll be feeding some extra bits to it. Based on that message and the generator bits, whatever is that is nothing but your redundancy bits. It will be combined and it will be transmitted in the transmission. This is unreliable transmission. Unreliable transmission means anything can happen. So we don't know exactly whether it receives to the proper receiver or not, or somebody else will steal that information. That is what your unreliable is all about. Reliable means always it will be transmitted to the exact uh, receiver to whom you are targeting to, or the destination will always be one and the same. So that is what the meaning. In the receiver side, we don't have encoder. We should not have it because already it is transformed from your readable format to unreadable format. Now our step is from the unreadable format, we need to get back the result as a readable format. For that, decoder is needed. Instead of this generator, what I'll do is I'll just change it to a checker. What is this checker is all about? That's what we just have undergone, right? So whatever the bits that we were transmitting it, we were checking for whether the parity is one and the same or not. If there is a change, then that should be addressed. So that is what the checker will be doing with respect to it. If it is one and the same, then it will accept the message. Otherwise, it will discard the message. Understanding it? So then, and the checker's job is to eliminate those redundant bits also. Whichever the redundant bit is that, depending on that, it will be eliminated. Only the data, whichever is available, that will be transferred to the receiver end. That's it. So normally, you can also use modulo n arithmetic. That's what I said. One example I have given you, that is with respect to parity check. Same thing, you can accept it, or else you can go with modular n arithmetic. What is this modulo n arithmetic is all about? So basically, if I want to just modulo 1 arithmetic is nothing but you're doing the XOR operation. That's it. Normally, it will be binary. So binary, you will always be going with 0 or 1. So with respect to this, we have it. So with respect to your n arithmetic, that is modular 2 arithmetic will be used here. So in this 0 to 2, any value, whatever is that, so between that 0 and 1, 2 minus 1 is 1. 0 and 1, whatever the integer values that it will be coming, that will be taken into consideration. That is what they are saying here with respect to your modulo n arithmetic principle. XOR operator. We'll just quickly move on to the next slide. That is block coding. So there are different types of error detection technique. In that, first particular technique that we are seeing is block coding. The second technique is cyclic redundancy check or cyclic coding format. So we'll just go one by one. Linear coding, data coding format is also there. So we'll just go one by one. The first one is block coding. Block coding, the name itself suggests that we are not sending a single bit at a time. We are having a block size. With respect to that particular block size, we are sending the data. What is this block size is all about? The exact data that you are transmitting from the sender to the receiver will be based on the data bits and the redundant bits. That is what K is nothing but your actual data bits that you are transmitting. R is nothing but your redundant bits that you are adding it. So if you add these two, then you will be getting the total length of the block that you are sending from the sender to the receiver. So this is the number of size of the block that you are transmitting from the sender to the receiver. Suppose I'll just give you an example. Suppose I have a data 1010. So 4 bits of data is that. So this is K becomes here 4. Redundant bits, how many you want, you can add it. So maximum 3 I told you. So if R 3 bits, I'll just say it 000 at the beginning. This is R which is equal to 3. Now, if you add this, that is, it should be added means it should not be modular arithmetic. You are not performing it. You are just combining those two particular things. It's a string addition. String addition in the sense 1010 followed by 3 bits. You are adding it. So totally, how many? N becomes K plus R, which will be equal to 4 plus 3, which will be equal to 7. So your block size is 7-bit length. So with respect to this, we are transmitting the data from one end to another. So each particular block that it will be transmitting is having the size as 7-bit length. So that is what the thing that we are transmitting. Now, what do you call this particular? You are combining your data as well as your redundant bits. If you are combining it, then it will be becoming one particular thing. So this one is called as your code words. Wait a minute. Yeah. This is called as code word. What is code word? Code word is nothing but combination of your data bit plus redundant bits. If you are combining it and if you are making it as a huge block, then that particular block code is nothing but your code words. So this is Code words, we all know it about it, right? We use this with respect to game, whichever the game that we are playing it, with respect to unlocking one particular stage or two stages or three stages. If you are unlocking once, you can use this particular code sheet or code words. Code words are nothing but it will be not understanding easily for the common man or the normal people. So you will be having your own particular way of expressing it. That is what your code word is all about. This will be understood at the receiver. Now you are transmitting this code word to the from the sender to the receiver. So this is at the sender part I'm talking about. At the receiver, the same philosophy will be taken care. This code word will be received. Once this code word will be received, it will be transmitted to the checker. Once the checker will be checking that particular code word, okay, 3 bits are added. Those 3 bits, whatever it is, that I need to just change it to a different one. So these 3 bits, I'll just change it and I'll just produce the 4-bit data that it is happened. So now, how the particular receiver will be knowing that only 3 additional bits has been added. For that, we need to know certain terminology, encoder technique and the decoder technique, because encoder and decoder will be should be working in the same particular way. So why? Or they should be what you can say? They should have a common rule where they can they will be having a common rule where they can just notice that whatever the number of bits that it can attach to. So for that, many uh, methods are there. We can just go through each one of it once we come across the error detection and correction pattern. What is this Hamming distance? Hamming distance is nothing but the correction or the changes that you are having with respect to your data that has been transmitted and data that has been arrived at that particular point of time. Say, for example, if you have a data or if you have a code with respect to each one of it coding, you need to have it at the beginning itself. Without that, you cannot go through or send that particular data bit. Say, for example, I'm transmitting 1000. Then, if I add a redundancy bit called as 001, if I just add it, suppose, then the code word should be 10000001. This should be known to the receiver also. Once it knows that, then it will be just come changing it. So it will just take those particular data bits as well as your redundant bits separately. It will make it. Who will make it? It will be done by your checker. Don't worry about it. We'll just check out how it will be done. So how you will be encoding it. We'll just see one by one after the other. Okay. This is how it will be working. Code word. That is what I just wanted to say. I just wanted to explain you. So this is what the code word is all about. So now we'll come back to the error detection. First we'll detect it, then only we will correct it. Without detection, you cannot correct it. So keep that in your head. Okay. So we'll just come back to this. So this is what it is. K bits, N bit code word is that. Instead of message plus generator, they are using this particular code word. The same block diagram, there is no change in it. So in the checker, extract a particular data bit and just transmit it to the receiver. So whichever the extra bits is that, discard it. Or entire bit is changed, then discard the entire particular code word itself. So that's what it will be done with respect to the block diagram. Now, let us assume the k is equal to 2 and n is equal to 3. What do you mean by this? K is equal to 2 and n is equal to 3. That means k is having 2 bits. The data word is of sizes 2 bits and the code word sizes that is n is equal to 3. So one more bit you are adding it. It may be added due to the parity check itself. See here, 0 0 is that you are adding one more bit. That bit 0 is added. Why 0 is added? 0 is nothing but your even parity itself. So it need to be continued as it is. So that's why 0 is added. See, 1 0 1 is that next particular data word that we are having it. So 0 1 in this odd number of ones are there. So the parity bit is odd. So in order to make it as even, I'll be adding one more bit, that is 1. So now it becomes even parity. So parity is checked over there. So with respect to 1 0, once again the same thing. 1 0, 1 will be the extra bit that will be added. 1 1, with respect to it, it is an even parity, so that's why 0 will be added. So this is the code word that we are having. This code word will be shared between your sender as well as receiver. So once that is shared between the sender and the receiver, then it will be easy for us to identify what is going on over there. It's as simple as your if you want to unlock the key and enter to your home, you need to have a common key with you as well as all the house members, or at least three of you should have the same particular key. Then only you can enter it. That key should be shared, right? The same thing in the similar fashion, your code words will be shared among all the particular parties. So with respect to this, if the data words is 2, with respect to parity, if you are adding it, then these are all the code words that you'll be having. If you do it in a different fashion, then you'll be just going with it. See, if you are going with modular arithmetic also, this is common as modular arithmetic. 0 plus 0 is 0 itself. 0 plus 1 is 1. So 1 XOR with 0 is 1. 1 XOR with 1 is 0. So that is what your parity is all about. So that's what we are doing it here. So modular 2 arithmetic as well as your parity is one and the same. That's what we have just designed it. Now, an error detecting code can detect only the type of errors for which it is designed. Suppose we are doing it for the 2-bit, then this table is correct. Suppose we are sending 3 bits and the code word is the same particular table contents, then there will be a wrong. That is the wrong assumption that we are making. So entire scenario will be going wrong. So that is what the meaning of this statement. Error detecting code can detect only the type of errors for which it is designed. So if you are designing it for detecting only one error, then 1-bit error will be detected over there. If any other thing, burst error comes into picture, then I need to design it separately for that. So other types of errors may remain undetected. So that is what it will be having with respect to detecting of the error that is going to happen with respect to your transmission of the data from the sender to the receiver. So structure of encoder and decoder in error correction method. So with respect to your error correction, we'll never discard it. In the detection, we'll discard it or we'll accept it. In the error correction method, what we'll be doing is we'll just see this code word and we'll just check that code word. We'll identify the bit where the error has been occurred. From that, it is easy for us. Once we identify the position, then it will be easy for us to change that particular bit. Instead of 0, it should be 1. It should be it should be 1 means, then instead of 1, it should be 0. If it has been if the code word has been changed from 0 to 1, then it should be reassigned, or it should be changed from 1 to 0. That's what it will be done with respect to it. But identifying the position is a challenging part. Detection will not give you the position. Detection will give you some error is there. That's it. Nothing else. There is some problem. That's it. So nothing else will be available. Whereas with respect to the correction part, it is not so. Yeah, there is some problem. Where that particular problem arises, I'll just identify. If I identify that, it will be easy for me to change the data itself or change the bit itself. So for changing the bit, we need to identify the thing. That will be done with respect to your correction part. So here, no question of discarding. So it will be correcting and it will be just accepting the data word by itself. Understanding it. That extra feature is available at the receiver end with respect to the decode that you are having. Understood? So for doing that, for identifying the errors, for accepting or rejecting it, we use one particular metric called as Hamming distance. What is this Hamming distance is all about? See, very simple thing. I'll just try to give you a small example how this particular Hamming distance works. What is this Hamming distance is all about? First, I'll just take a small example of first I'll take a small example of a words. Okay. Two words are have been written here. Can you able to view it? Is it visible to all of you? Point and paint are the two words I have taken. So in this, which are all the which are all the uh, letters that has been changed, how many change of letters that you are having it, that becomes your Hamming distance. See here, respect to this example, you're taking it. So if you are just considering A followed by O. So with respect to this, there's a change. Remaining all will be one and the same. P, P, I, N, T. With respect to the position also, it will be one and the same. So there is a small change in this. So this is nothing but this will be identified by the Hamming distance. Similarly, sir, you are talking about the words, but how come it is related to your networking concept? In the network, we'll be transmitting the data. Data, how it will be looking? How the data will be looking? Data will be transmitted in the binary format. Why it will be transmitted in the binary format? Because you are using some digital data. So digital data, if you are using events, it will be of binary format itself. 1001 1 or 0, any one particular value you can just transmit it. Suppose you have a data, you have identified the block, that is your code word is that. Similarly, you have one more particular code word, that is the code word which is already present with respect to the receiver. See, very simple thing that I'll just try to explain you. So this is the data word. For this, we are adding the redundancy. So this becomes the code word. Code word is 100 followed by 000. So the same code word will be available at the sender as well as at the receiver, right? Agree? Agree? Instead of it, I'll just go with the parity itself. So I'll just change one particular bit. So instead of it, this is the code word. So now, just try to write each one of it. Yeah, try to write. Data word. Data word is nothing but actual data that you want to transmit it. So you have the data as 1000. Next, redundant bits. Redundant bits or redundant bit. Okay, anything. So I'll just add one to it because in order to make it as what we can say, parity check, for that we'll just going with it. So now the code word becomes, we need to generate this table first. So this is our code word for with respect to the data word 10001001 should be the code word. So this table should be transmitted or should be taken care with respect to both the parties, sender as well as receiver should know it, right? So once this is the table structure. So now if I say transmission phase or sender, I'll say sender will transmit the data 10001. This is the code word that has been transmitted. So receiver will receive the code word, right? So he will compare it. How it will be compared? It's using the Hamming distance. He'll be just comparing it with the code word. So code word, what he is having is, so if this is the differences. So everything is one and the same. So the Hamming distance normally it will be determined as D, which will be between those two words is 0 means extract the data bit. If D is not equal to 0, or in the other sense, if it is greater than 0, then data word should be discarded. So this is actually what it is happening with respect to the Hamming distance. Hamming distance is used to check whether the data has been received at the other end properly or not. In the checker, it will be done. So how it will be done? This code word and data word should be shared between the sender as well as the receiver. The sender will transmit the code word. Once the code word will be transmitted, the same particular receiver will be identifying the code word, whatever it has been received, and whatever the previously identified one. See, suppose if you want to code it means unreadable format. You need to just generate it. How to do that? So whatever, see, for example, if I want to say a word, I need to transmit it. Hello, how are? Now what I'll do is H H A U. I'll just transmit it. Now, this is my code word. So this will be understood by the end user also, should be understood. So I should previous to sending this particular code word, I need to say that if I send the first character of each one of it, you need to assume that it is hello, how are you, or something like that. Somebody may misinterpret as hi, how are you also. Hi is different, hello is different. So hello contains five letters, whereas hi contains only two letters. So two letters means two characters. Two characters means 8-bit length it will be having. So 16-bit is the one. So here it is 8 into 5, that is 40 bits. So that is how it will be changing. So depending on this, I need to identify. So this should be understood by the other user also. Then only he can decode it. Otherwise, it will be not easy for the other person to decode it. For that decoding, whether it is correct or not, so we'll be using the Hamming distance. If the Hamming distance d is equal to 0, then everything is correct. There is no change in the code received as well as the code word which I have in my particular table. So if there is a particular chance of getting the error means, then there will be a problem with respect to it. So then if d is greater than 0, then we'll say that there is some particular problem in the Hamming distance that we are having. So what is Hamming distance? It is nothing but the differences that we are having it with respect to your corresponding bits. That's it, nothing else. So I hope this is clear with respect to your Hamming distance concept. See here. Let us find the Hamming distance between two pairs of words. Very simple. So two words are there. So one with respect to your 0, 0, 0, another one is with respect to your 0, 1, 1. So two changes are happening. So that's why distance is 2. Or else you can go with XOR operation also. There is no problem. Anything is good. So with respect to this XOR operation, it will be 0, 1, 1. That is two ones are there. So that's what it will be just written. Same here with respect to this. The Hamming distance is 3. Why? Because three different three differences that you are getting it with respect to the code words that you are having it. Two should be valid code words. Keep that in your head. The minimum Hamming distance is the smallest Hamming distance between all possible pairs in a set of words. What do you mean by minimum Hamming distance? So if you are calculating the Hamming distance among the different type of code words that you are having it, if whatever the value that you are getting it, whatever the distance that you are getting it, whatever the change that you are getting it, which is the minimum distance or minimum value that you are getting it among all the possible calculation of the Hamming distance, that will be the smallest or the minimum distance that you will be having with respect to the given problem statement. See here, data word 2 is that with respect to that code words. This is already done. We cannot change this code words. Code words cannot be changed. You cannot change the code word according to yourself. So what we are doing is based on these code words, 4 code words, we are just combining each one of it. So first code word is 0, 0, 0. Second code word is 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. With respect to this, what is the distance? 2. Two changes are there. Same thing. Second code word with the third code word. Second code word with the fourth code word. Third code word with respect to the first followed by 4. Similarly, you need to compare at all the things. That is, it's a Cartesian product. In the similar fashion, you need to just perform the action. 0, 0, 0 with respect to 0, 1, 1. 0, 0, 0 with respect to 1, 0, 1. 0, 0, 0 with respect to 1, 1, 0. Similarly, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1 with respect to already 0, 0, 0 taken care. So 0, 0, 0, 1, 1 with respect to 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. Similarly, 1, 1, 0. So you need to compare, you need to just take this particular distances among all these particular cases. So with respect to that, whatever the distance that you are getting it, whatever is the minimum value that you are getting it, minimum change that you are getting it, that will be nothing but your minimum distance. Understanding it? So what they are saying is, in all the particular cases, if you are having a Hamming distance, if you are having the um, errors that has been detected as yes, you can make it. So with respect to that, minimum Hamming distance will always be given as d minimum greater than or equal to s plus 1. What is this s plus 1? So minimum thing is it should be greater than or equal to s. What is d minimum? See, with respect to the previous example, if we take it, 2 bits are there, data birds. So with respect to that, you can identify maximum 3 bits will be the code word. With respect to this 3 bits, 2 bits of error that you can identify. One is required for correction. So that's what they are saying it with respect to S plus 1. I think, okay, we'll stop here. So this one, I'll take it once again in the next class. Till this, whatever I covered, it will be there for your interface. Okay, so I hope I'm clear with explaining you what is this Hamming distance, why it is required, what is the advantage of using that, everything, right? So with this, we'll just wind up the class. Thank you very much for your patience listening. We'll just continue rest of it in the next class.